Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. We have a new baby on the table today. It's Brittany. She looks like this. She's a reborn from Bountiful Baby. And we're going to work on her today. I haven't done a Brittany in a long, long time. I have done some Brittany's before, but it's been quite some time since I've done a Brittany. I just have a huge, huge number of kits in my closet, in bins, in boxes, just everywhere. Because I bought them on sale. Oh, she's got nice open hands, two of them. They'll be real nice to crease and to paint. And nice toes too. She has really nice, I like when their toes come out straight like that instead of bending under too much. They're harder to paint that way. But she's got nice limbs. I like her limbs. And she looks so tiny compared to Charlie, who I was doing previously before her. She's got a little bit of white residue on the back of her head from her sealer, but that's no problem with heat set paint because as you're putting the paint on with the paint thinner, it will disappear. It's just on the back of her head anywhere where she'll be rooted, so it doesn't matter. But Brittany is, I think, a 19-inch kit. I'm pretty sure she's a 19-inch kit. Almost all of them are 18.5 or 18 or 19 or 19.5 or 20. Almost all the reborns, except the preemies. There's a few that are 17 and 17 and a half about. But most of them are between 18 and 20 inches. I'm just looking her over to see if there's any skips in her sealer. We don't want any of that because that spot will color lighter than the rest of it. The sealer really sucks that paint down, I'm telling you. And if there's a spot where there isn't any sealer, you're going to see that. You're going to see that spot and you're going to go, oh, look at that. It looks like she has a lighter skin tone on that part of her body. But anyway, I've decided to announce my next contest that's coming up, my giveaway. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking on this giveaway, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So let me empty my pencil sharpener. Hold on. I got to scroll back here to the garbage can to do it. And what I really want is more followers. I want more people to follow me. So I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm not sure. Most of the things I'm going to give away are going to be heat set only. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be anything in the box that an air dry artist could use. But because I do heat set, most of the stuff I have is for heat set artists. And I'd really like to give away some of that stuff that I got in my... that's coming. It's still coming. It's in that kit that of stuff I ordered. There's quite a lot of things in there that I probably won't use, and I was thinking that maybe I would just include it in the giveaway. I'm going to throw these pieces of armature in there too. I'm not sure that somebody couldn't put them together and use them in a doll. I mean, it'd have to be a kind of big doll, but it would give them a backbone where they could sit up better. You have to have that snapping tool that snaps the pieces on, and I don't have it. And I don't see myself just trying to put this together and putting it in a doll anyway. But somebody might use it. I'm going to put that in there. And just anything that I am not going to use is going to go in that box, plus a lot more. In the kit that I ordered, there is a set of paints. It's the 8 what they call regular colors, and they throw in creases too. And but some of the colors are not the colors that you see me using, so I ordered a couple of extra colors. I think I ordered Pyro Red, 05, and Ethnic Lip Nail and Blush, so you could use those in place of some of the other colors that are going to be in that little kit. And I was going to throw that in the box, and I think some the way they have it listed on the invoice, you can go online and actually see your invoice, and I looked at it. They have it listed like they're separate components, completely separate components, and that they're not a kit. So some of the stuff listed on there, I'm just pretty sure, like the sponges. I don't like their sponges. I ordered some the other day. They're very similar to these sponges right here that I ordered from Dolls by Sandy, only they're much smaller. And I won't be using those. I won't be using the ones I just ordered. I ordered them to see what they were like. They were on sale. So I said, I'll give it a try. But I just think they're too little. I might throw that in there too. But there may be some paintbrushes in there. There may be, you know, some of these little, I've ordered now in several orders. They haven't gotten here yet, but I've ordered in several different orders, lots of little jars like these. I think this is the 1/2 ounce. It's this size. Yeah, I think that's a 1/2 ounce because the ounce is this size. I ordered some of both of them. I'm not sure what I want to keep for myself yet, but there's going to be some of those in there, and definitely some Exodus oil. See, I've just put it in this little clean bottle, and I labeled it Exodus oil so that people would know. And in the kit is going to be a little bottle of that Gemini paint thinner. I'll throw that in too. I don't really use it. I have this other kind that I use that's much more economical for me. There could be just any number of things in there. Plus, I'll probably throw in a kit. It won't be Autumn because I ordered Autumn because I wanted her. I ordered that with the beginner kit, and it was a super fantastic price. That was a good sale, and the $199 beginner kit came out to $119. That's $80 off, and I thought it was fantastic, so I ordered it. So, and I'll throw this quinquenadine, however you say that, crimson in there too. I don't like it either. Other people may like these colors. I don't know. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean they won't like them. I have some sealer up there I'm going to throw in. It's not the sealer you see me using, but it's plenty good sealer still. It's going to be a much smoother sealer than this one. This sealer is kind of rough. That sealer will be much smoother than this sealer. So if you don't like the rough feeling of sealer, then you'll like that sealer very much. I used nearly 100 bottles of it. Like I told in another video, I got a huge discount on a whole bunch of bottles. And I was using it. And the whole time, I was totally satisfied with it. And then I decided to do this Gemini trial. And I wanted to use everything Gemini. And so I used the Gemini sealer, and I just like it better, that's all. There's nothing wrong with that sealer. I just don't want to use it. I'm just that way, I guess. So I'll be throwing that in there. And it'll be a nice box, a very nice box of things, and very worth having. And I'm only going to do one box, but what I want to get out of this whole deal is more subscribers. I want people. I'm now up to 402, I think. You know, I mentioned in another video Today is Saturday. No, it's Friday, January the 2nd, 2026. And I mentioned in another video that I would like to have 400 subscribers before the first of the year. Well, I got it on the first. I got 3 more subscribers, and it put me over to 402. And I was ecstatically happy. But I'd like to see this year me get a whole 100 more subscribers. 100. Maybe more than that. So I'm going to ask everybody that wants to enter the contest to try to get people to subscribe. Subscribe and watch my videos. They too can enter the contest if they do the same thing. I'm going to ask everybody to get 3 people to subscribe. And please don't ask little children or your husband who's not going to watch the videos anyway or something like that. Empty subscribers doesn't help you that much. You know, it might bump up your numbers and it might look really good, but if they're not watching the videos, it doesn't help you really. I don't know. Maybe you understand what I'm talking about. But if you get 3 subscribers, and they can get 3 subscribers if they want to enter, but they're going to need to be, okay, here's the rules. First of all, you have to be one of my subscribers. Second of all, you have to have a public profile so I can see that you're one of my subscribers. If you say, hi, this is Deborah, my username is this, and I go and look on my users, on my subscribers, and you're not listed there, I can't verify you're one of my subscribers. See, I hope you understand that. And also, I'm going to need the people that you get to subscribe to say, hey, it was Deborah who recommended I subscribe. You know, I need to know that you really got 3 people. I'm not saying you personally would cheat, but there are plenty of people that go, hey, enter me in that giveaway. I want to be in it. I did what you said. I had one time, and that's all people did. I want to be in that contest. I want to be in that contest. But here's what I did, just to make sure people, all I asked in that was that I didn't even have that many videos up at that time. I said, watch all my videos. And I wrote down each video, the name of it, like Ethan Part 1, Ethan Part 2. And I wrote down how many views it already had, so that I could tell if people watched them. And they didn't change. And I go, you didn't watch the videos because the numbers are still the same. So, you know, if you can't follow the rules, you don't need to try to be in the contest. That's what I say. But the whole idea of doing a contest like this is I'm willing to give something nice to somebody who participates. But I need the participation. That's what I need to get out of it. I'm giving away hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, but I need to get something out of it. And what I need to get out of it is either followers or viewers, and this time I'm going to focus on followers. I would like some more people to subscribe to my channel. So if you want to participate and you want heat set items, other than the heat set paint, there'll be a paint palette in there. There may be several items from that kit that I ordered that will be in there. But the paints and everything will be heat set, definitely. I don't have any more air dry stuff. I only have heat set stuff. So if you need or want heat set items, then you're a good candidate for the giveaway. But really and truly, if you're an air dry artist and you follow the rules too, you're certainly welcome to enter. You just won't get that much stuff you can use. You will get some stuff that you could use, but some of it's going to be stuff you just absolutely won't use because you don't do heat set. But it will be a nice box. All of my boxes so far have been nice. They've had outfits in them. They've had diaper covers. They've had bows and hair clips and hair. I put hair in one of them. I didn't send any needles because people are real particular about the needle. But now needles are going to come in that beginner kit. It's going to have that little mushroom tool that holds the needles. That'll be in there, and some whatever amount of needles they send you. I think it's 5. I don't know. And they'll be in there too. I don't know which kind they'll give. There'll be several items in there that I will be including in the box, but not everything. I'm going to keep some of the stuff. And I did order these popsicle sticks. I'll probably send you some popsicle sticks if you win. I'll send you some, I don't think anybody needs toothpicks. Everybody can get those. Plenty cheap at Walmart. I think, what are they, $1 for like 500 of them? I don't know. But I may send you some bulb syringes. These are real nice ones. They're medical grade. They're not going to split on you after 3 or 4 uses like those ones you get from the doll groups. These are medical grade. They're really sturdy. I've not had one single one split yet. See, they're put together in 2 pieces and kind of glued together, I guess. And after the paint thinner goes up in them, they start to split on these seams. And then they won't suck up any more stuff out of the jar because there's a hole in it. And so you have to throw them out. They're good for 3 or 4 uses, the ones you get for them doll groups. But I have a big pack of like 100 of them that I got from a medical supply place, and they were plenty cheap, let me tell you, for 100. If you consider 100 was in there, they were plenty cheap, and well worth the money, I think, because they last. So you'll get some of those. You'll probably get an outfit, maybe some baby shoes, maybe some hats and bows and things. I just don't know what I'm going to put in the box, but stuff is going to be in that box. I usually use either a large or a medium size, usually a large, or something similar that's not priority. But the size of a large priority flat rate box, which is pretty big, and it's full of stuff, but usually I'm getting a box that's not priority so I can send it ground advantage because postage is very high. Oh, it's a stink bug. Oh, lovely. I just love stink bugs, don't y'all? There you go, stink bug. He's visiting my paint thinner now. I just scooped him right into there. They can't get out of it and they die almost immediately. That stuff just kills them. I need to pour that paint thinner out anyway. Anyway, it is going to be a very nice box, and that's what I want to get from it. So if you want to enter, first of all, be a subscriber. Second of all, make your profile public. Now I know there's some people who have entered every one of my contests. I already know they're public. They don't have to say, hi, I'm so and so. They already know who they are too. They know who they are. They don't have to do that. All they need to tell me is that they got 3 people to subscribe. 3 people. That's not very many. You get your sister, your friend, your coworker. And let me know. You can even tell me their names or their usernames or whatever you want to do to verify it. But they're going to need to say, hey, it was so and so who got me to subscribe, and then they too can do the same thing. And then once that's done, your name, I'll write your name down on a piece of paper, and all I ever do is just the list. There's never hardly any but 2 or 3 people anyway that do the contest. I don't know why, but last time it was only 2 people, so I felt bad to single out one. Just how do you draw one name out of 2? I mean, it's just like I just gave them both a box. But I'm hoping this time we get at least 4 or 5 people to do it. I don't know why people don't want to do the contest. It's super easy usually, and the items are super good. I don't give junk away. One lady, Regina, she's my good friend. She has her own channel called Diva G's Reborns, which is awesome. She makes awesomely beautiful dolls. And you need to go over and check out her YouTube channel and give her a like and a subscribe. But she actually opened her box online so you could see it on her channel. I'm going to start creasing him while we're talking, so you could actually see some of the stuff that she got in her box if you wanted to. But that was the previous box. This one's going to actually be better than that box because it's going to have a lot of that stuff from that kit in it. Not everything. I'm going to keep some of the stuff. There's some stuff in there I kind of wanted to try out. And so I thought, well, I'll get some stuff I can give away, and I'll get some stuff I can use. And it's a fabulous price because some of those kits are real expensive. And the way they had it broken down was they broke it down into separate components. This much for this part and this much for this part. But it came out to $119 because that's what the kit was selling for. And they only had $30 down for Autumn. Her kit being $30. That was the part of the price that was allotted to her kit. And then the pieces of the Reborn paint supply kit that they included in there. And they had all that separated too. Oh yeah, you get the plugs and rings that come for Autumn. I'm not going to use them. I never do. But you can use them on a doll you have if they take that size plug or ring. You just put them up and save them. One time I saved all that stuff when I used to buy it. It used to come, you buy a kit on eBay sometimes and they send you plugs and rings. I never used them. I just threw all that stuff in a box, and when the box got pretty full, I just sold it. There were several sets of plugs and rings in there. I just don't use them. I might use the plug, but those rings, I'm just not fooling with that. It's too hard, and they come out bulky on the doll. I don't like the way they look on the doll, and so I don't use them. But plenty of people do. So if you want to use them, you can, or you can pass them on. All I ever ask is if there's anything in that box you can't use, don't throw it out. Pass it on to another artist that's struggling and needs help. One time I just did a box for any new artist who was struggling. All you had to do is say, I want it. There was no contest whatsoever, and I'd put your name in the drawing. And this time I'm asking something. This box is going to be much more than some of the other boxes I've sent out in the past. So I want something for it. I want subscribers. Next time I might ask for viewers. I'm not sure about this at all, but I think that if you've already viewed a video, it doesn't record the second viewing of it. I don't know for sure. I've never put that to the test. If you have a YouTube channel and you know the answer to that, please put it in the comments so I know. Does it record the second time you watch it? I know it doesn't record when I watch the videos, but it's my channel, so I guess that's natural. I don't know. I am creasing her kind of dark. You can probably see it really well on camera, but it fades. First of all, it's going to fade from just baking it, and then all those layers of paint going on top of it is going to fade it even more. So if you want your creasing to show all the way through, especially if you like dark creasing, you're going to have to crease your doll kind of dark. And the color and boldness of your line has mostly to do with how hard you press down. Now, if you have a dull pencil, that's going to make a darker, fatter line too than a pointy pencil, because there's more lead. Well, it's not really lead, but you know what I mean. There's more pencil point touching your doll, so the line's going to be fatter. So a really sharp point is going to give you a really crisp line. The only time I insist on crisp lines is when I'm doing in between the fingers and the toes. They need to be very crisp for that, because otherwise it gets all over the toe or the finger and you're not going to like it. So think about the contest. I'm going to try to talk about it, I guess, go over it again on other videos, but sometimes I forget to do that because I'm so into what I'm doing with the doll that I just forget, oh yeah, the contest, let me mention that again. And I'd really like participation. I don't know why I don't get any participation. Like I said, 50 or more people might watch a video, but that doesn't mean they're going to comment on it or like it or even try to enter the contest. It's a very good contest. I don't know why people don't try to enter it. I've had people tell me they don't even make dolls, but they watch my videos, so maybe they don't want anything. But I know there's plenty of people who want to start and they're watching videos as a pre-thing to help them figure out what to do and what to get and stuff. And I recommend they watch the tutorials. Not all of my videos are what I consider a tutorial. It's just me making dolls, and you get to watch my progress, and you get to watch the techniques I do so that you can see how they look. But a tutorial just tells every little detail from start to finish, things you already know as a more experienced artist. You already know about sealing and washing your kit and all that stuff. So, you know, it's not needed in a regular video, but in a tutorial, I cover all of that. I cover introduction to doll making, what you need to get started, all that stuff. And I also cover, sometimes I cover how to set up your table. But now almost everybody knows how they want their table set up. But I give ideas that people may not have thought about, like having different color brushes for every color so you don't need to wash them. And some people think, oh, how awful, wash those brushes. But you know what? You're just washing that beautiful color out that you can use for dry painting. And if you haven't tried dry painting, I highly recommend that you do. It is very good. It's way better than wet painting, let me tell you. If you could do a whole doll with dry painting, I would certainly do it, but it's not feasible because you just need 500 of every color, 500 brushes of every color to have enough paint in them to do the entire doll surface. You know, we paint the whole doll when we're doing the layers. You can't do layers with dry painting. There's just not enough paint in the brushes. But I'm gonna love doing these little hands. Hands and feet are my favorite if they're open like this. I love the hands done. They just look so cute. But anyway, be thinking about this contest and get some people in mind that you can ask to please subscribe. And if they watch a few videos, that's great too. Bump up my views a little bit. I love it when people comment. I have a few people that comment on almost every single video. Now, they don't comment on every single one. Maybe 2 people do. I'm not sure. There's a couple people who comment on almost every single one I put out. And I do appreciate that. I mean, if you don't really have anything to say about it, that's one thing. But they just say things like, oh, that doll came out so good. I mean, just nice little things like that. They're just real congenial and nice people. I don't like dropping people's names, but Regina doesn't care. Regina's one of them. Regina's okay with me dropping her name. And I don't know about the other one. I haven't asked her, was it okay for me to use her name on camera? I don't like to do that because I don't like it when people do it to me. I like anonymity. And you go, well, why are you doing public videos then? Well, it's different. You notice I hardly ever show my face. I did have my camera for a while where you could see my face. I don't like it. I don't like my face showing. Well, for one thing, I'm super fat, and another thing, I think I'm really ugly. So, and don't tell me I'm not ugly because I already know I am. I used to be pretty when I was young, and I can prove it. I got pictures, but I'm not pretty anymore. I'm 68 years old, and I'm real baggy looking. I'm a baggy old lady. I'm the definition of a baggy old lady. But I don't like it when I show on camera. I don't even like it if I go in a store. You know how sometimes you go in a restaurant and like Starbucks is one of them. You want coffee. They want to put your name on your cup and call out your name. I go, oh no. And my sister goes, what's the big deal? I go, okay, I'll give them a false name. I don't want my name called. I don't know. I'm self-conscious, I guess. I don't want, hey, Karen, your coffee's ready. I don't want people calling my name out like that. It spotlights you kind of. I don't know. It makes me feel weird. And I don't like it. One time I gave them just a fake name like Wanda or something. I just go, okay, I'm Wanda. Wanda, your coffee's ready. And I went up there and got it, and I didn't feel self-conscious. Isn't that weird? People were still, people look up whenever, I think they do, and they're staring at you. Well, they'll still stare if they think your name's Wanda too, I guess, but I didn't feel self-conscious. I don't know why. I guess because it wasn't really my name. I don't know. But it's disturbing to me. I don't like my name called out. I don't like, like one time, and this was not a funny joke. My son thought it would be funny. We went to, you know how you go to some restaurants and they want to sing happy birthday to you and bring you a piece of cake if it's your birthday. Every time we'd go out to eat, my son would tell them, I don't care what day it was, they'd tell them it was my birthday. And I try to convince the waitress it's not even my birthday. He's doing it for a joke. And they said it doesn't matter. He said it was your birthday, so we're going to sing. And then they come out clapping their hands and singing that birthday song. And you're so embarrassed, you feel like sinking through the floor. But my son thought it was funny, and he knew it bothered me. That's why he thought it was so funny. Anyway, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was terrible. It was very embarrassing. And one time, we went to this restaurant where they wanted you to stand up on a platform and put a spotlight on you, kind of. It was really, really embarrassing. Okay, she's creased. She looks like a boy to me. Do y'all think this doll looks like a boy? Because I do. Most of the time I go with whatever gender they say it is, but sometimes they just look like a boy. She just looks like a boy to me. I don't know. I'll still make her a girl, I guess, but she don't make a pretty girl. Anyway, I thought it was real embarrassing to do that to somebody. Okay, I'm going to start putting a little color on the face. I can't do the arms and legs because I just creased them. But I'm going to do the face. Hopefully there's enough. I just keep forgetting to dip this blue brush. I'm hoping there's some blue in here that will put a little on this forehead. And after this one, I'm certainly going to dip it. I keep saying that and I keep forgetting. Let me get a sponge of some sort here. We always want to dab our paint unless it's just so vague you can't. Because it's going to look rashy and ugly or stark and dark. And you don't want either one of those. And if you're having trouble spreading it, get out your kabuki. I highly recommend these kabukis, but not for everyday painting. They're just for pouncing your... I just use them during the undertones. This one is like a Equate brand. It's called a Kabuki face brush. They're pretty reasonably priced at Walmart. Now they have highly expensive ones you can get, but there's no reason to. They all you just pound on your doll with it to spread out the paint. And if it's not spreading good enough, just gently rub it and rub it around like that, and it'll spread it. Don't rub hard, you'll just take it off. What we want to do is feather it out and smooth it. And I have one of those for each color too. However, I don't use kabukis for the layers. I only use them for the purple, the red, and the blue. And I had one for yellow too when I was using yellow, but I don't use yellow anymore. I don't like it. I mean, I like the color. It's pretty on the doll, but at the end you can't see it anymore. It's like it adds something to the doll as you're making the doll. In the first few layers you still see it, but after that it just goes away. I'm going to now try to pink her up a little. Once again, I'm going to go over this because it's important. You don't want to leave the background of the face super, super light. Normally we pink up the cheeks, the nose, maybe a little on the chin or the forehead, but the rest of the doll just looks super, super pale because you put that pink all over. And we're not using pink, we're using red. I said pink, but it's the same color as this. It's really a dark, bloody red color. It just goes on light so it looks pinkish. Now if you mix up real pink, you're going to get something ugly on your doll. So here we go. We're just going to lighten her face, this is very dark, as you can see, but don't worry, we are going to dab it. And she will be a normal color. Make sure you get it in the nose, everywhere. This was super dipped, I guess. This is darker than any paint I've ever put on a doll before. This is the darkest red I've ever put on a doll. I just can't believe it's that dark. But I want to get every part of her colored. I don't want to leave any parts white. And then we're going to be kabukiing the crap out of this doll. I want to get inside her mouth as well. This is basically dry paint. It never fully dries. It's oil paint. And I mean, if you left it 3 or 4 months, it probably would. But whoever does that, not me. I'm constantly painting dolls all the time. We want to get the entire total inside of her mouth painted. There we go. Now we're going to have to dab the crap out of this to get it a normal color that we like. We may not need to do her face a second time. I'm always doing it in 2 sections because it's never dark enough the first time. And if you try to put more dark on top of your light, what happens is it just washes out the color completely and you have no color at all. There'll be skips in your color. But this is way, way too harsh. Now, if you get it super harsh like this and you can't do anything else with it, my suggestion is you take a clean sponge and you put some, a tiny bit, you don't want to get it super wet. You want to make sure it's nearly dry, just slightly damp, with some paint thinner. And just dab over it because it will take a lot of that color off. See how this is spreading as I'm twirling it around on this doll? It's also lightening a whole lot. This will take a lot of it off. If you're getting too much on your brush, just rub it on your paper towel like this, and you'll get some of it off. And it'll start to work again. This is way too dark still, way too dark. This is much darker than you would ever want to make your doll. Now her chin and the outer parts of her cheek are about the right color. I'm going to have to do that. Now you always run the risk of taking too much paint off when you use the paint thinner. So be very, very, very careful with it. It's an art, really, to taking paint off of a doll with like that, because it's not the end of the world if you take too much off, but I don't want her that red. That is too red for me. I'm just going to get a clean sponge, and I'm going to get one of these softer sponges because the other one won't hardly let go of anything. Once it gets on there, it's on there. I'm just going to put a few little drops on here. I don't want a lot because, like I said, you don't want to just ruin your doll. You just want it sort of slightly wet. And then see how wet that is? I'm taking a lot of it off. That's good. Okay. Now I'm just going to dab around on her, and it's going to take some color off of her. See, it's coming off. It's going to tone her down a whole lot. Now you won't want to do this if you've got multiple different colors. Some people paint in multiple layers. They'll put one coat of this color and one coat of that color. You may take it down to bare vinyl if you're not careful. Now it won't take the paint thinner off, the sealer off, because she's been baked. Anything baked on is not going to come off with this technique. I even think the inside of her mouth is too dark. But we're going to tone her down a whole lot here, and then when she goes in the oven, she'll lighten up a little bit more. She's nearing the right color now. I'm starting to like her color a little better. She will lighten up when she bakes, but she was just too dark for me. And that little spot on her cheek is, I don't know what's up there. She's going to have to get a baby scratch, I think. She's got a little darker spot on her cheek, and I can't seem to make it tone down. If you start rubbing, you're going to really take the paint off. But it won't just take the spot off, it'll take all around it too. And once you think you've got enough off of her, if you're not getting enough off and your sponge is getting too dry, just get another clean sponge and do it again. But I think she's going to be okay. Now that looks pretty good. I don't think she'll need a second blushing. Maybe her cheeks just a little. But she's going to be kind of red-faced, I think. But she's okay now. Now the last thing we're going to do before we put her in the oven is we are going to paint her lips and nails. Oh, I didn't do her spot on her forehead. I'm just kind of scared to do it with this dark sponge. I'm just going to go on and dab it with this because it's already too dark. I need to dab it with anything else. I always put that spot on their forehead. I never skip it. It's my signature mark. I started doing it on the very first doll I ever made. She's still going to be very red, I think. I may need to dab another sponge across here. I'm not sure. When they're this dark, I don't know. Harsh looking. Yeah, I think I'm going to dab another sponge. This one's got too much on it now. If you try to dab that one across her again, it's probably going to put more paint back on her than it takes off. But, oh, that's just empty now. I don't need to put it back in the drawer. Okay, I'm going to put a few drops on this one now and try again. What we're trying to do is just tone her down a little. We don't want super wet, so I'm going to dab it on the paper towel a little bit. We just want it slightly wet. It's going to get to the point where it's not taking much off because it's starting to dry. That doesn't mean you couldn't rub it off, because you could. But that is super dark. I didn't know it was that dark at all. She's toned down a lot, but see, not much is coming off this time. And that's because it's about taking off all it's going to. She's just going to be that color. Some dolls can be darker than other dolls. They don't all have to be the same color. I'm going to do her ears a little bit. Herein lies the problem. The brush is too stark. It'll start to run out of paint in a minute, and then it won't be so stark. But in order to get all these little crevices, you have to keep dabbing, and it's making it darker and darker, which I don't like that part, but I need to get her ears even. And hopefully I can get most of this off of her. I'll use these two sponges and see what I can do. Be very, very careful not to get this on her head. I've already got some on her head, which I'm going to have to try to rub off. But you want to get the whole ear painted, but you don't want to get the back of, behind the ear on her head, which I've got it all over her. This is so dark and stark that it's really, really showing. So I'm going to first take a swab, and I'm going to wet it with some paint thinner. And I mean, I'm going to wet it because I want to get it off of her head. And to do that, you need some paint thinner to get that off. This is some of the problems we have when we're painting dolls. We tend to have a few little problems like this sometimes, where the paint's just not what we want it to be. We have to learn to compensate for that stuff, because you can't just constantly be undoing what you already did, if you know what I mean, or undoing my paintbrush because I think the paint's too dark. Lay that down, and I'm going to dab her with this sponge first. Try to get some of that off. It's lightening her ears up a whole bunch. But is it going to be enough? I just don't know. I don't want a super, super bloody red baby doll. I don't like them like that. Of course, I'm making Brittany to sell, not for me to keep. This is the dry end of the Q-tip. The other end is super wet because I didn't dab it off very much. I soaked it with paint thinner so I could rub it behind her ears and get that off her head. Now, where's that other cleaner one? Here it is. We'll dab her with that one too and see what we can do. The proof is going to be in the pudding. When she comes out of the oven, how's she going to look? That's the biggest question here. I was using a the jar of paint I was using for her, it's also the same jar I was using on Dominic sleeping when I did him. He's very, very red because it was very, very dark. I didn't dilute it enough, and I decided to put it aside and use a different bottle instead. But these brushes, I guess, were already dipped in it, and I didn't really know. Had I known, I probably would have rinsed them off and re-dipped them, but I didn't know. And all that time I was working on Charlie and not even using the red, I could have had them re-dipped and they could be drying. But I didn't do it because I didn't know. Ignorance is no excuse. It's one bloody looking ear. We're going to try to make this work. This is one of those things you work around. I one time had some sealer. I don't know what was wrong with that sealer. When you'd put the thinner in it, it would lump up like cottage cheese. It was so lumpy and bumpy. I thought about throwing it out, but I had bought that and it was too late to send it back. I had kept it for too long of a period of time to be able to send it back. You just can't keep something that long and then go, okay, I want to send it back. I don't like it. You know, I bought it from somebody off of eBay and it was no good. And I didn't use it right away. That was my fault. I didn't test it out or anything. And when I did get around to using it, it was no good. And so I felt like I had to try to make it work because, well, you bought it, you need to use it. So I found a way around it. I got me a great big brush. It was kind of like this one, only it had stiffer bristles. And I put it on and it was lumpy. And then I took that stiff bristle brush and I whisked off. I use it like a whisk broom, and I whisked off all the lumps that were all over the table, and then I'd have to clean the table up. But I got it off, and I was able to use the sealer until I almost used it all up until I could afford to buy more, and then I threw the rest of it out. But I used it, a lot of it, and that's another thing. We have to learn to get around some of our problems. Some of our problems are really easy to solve, and some of them not so much. But we are artists, and we figure it out. That's what we do. I just think she's going to have some color around her ears. Let me get another swab here and see, can't I clean her up a little bit? I don't like it when I have these problems. But problems are one of the things that artists face when they're making dolls. And as soon as you know you have a problem, that's the time to take care of it. Don't wait. Don't bake it first and see how it's going to look. Fix it. Because you won't like the results after you bake it. And then you're trying to get it off. You won't like it at all. You'll be going, well, I should have done that before I baked it, because now it won't come off. And that's true of any sort of enhancement or anything you do. They don't get better by baking them first. Yes, they're going to get lighter, but if you can tell by looking at her, she's too dark. She really is. But there's not a lot I can do about it at this point. I'm going to give her some eyebrows. I'm not even going to sharpen my pencil. It just has the tiniest little round point on it. I'm just going to give her some soft little wispy eyebrows, and then we're going to do her lips and nails, and then we're going to get her in the oven. I don't do those eyebrows that a lot of people do. To me, they're scary looking. They're too hairy and too dark and too big. And I just like the eyebrows to look wispy and small. because they are newborns. If you really look at a newborn, you can't even hardly see that unless they have black hair or something. And some babies are born quite hairy. Some of them have hair on their ears and their shoulders and stuff when they're born. It falls out, but you know, when they're first born, sometimes they have that. And those babies are going to be a little more hairy, but your average baby is going to have eyebrows you can barely see. That's why I do eyebrows like that. I've gotten many compliments on my dolls. Not that they're hyper realistic, because they're not that. I think hyper realism is going a little far. I mean, they're not babies, they're dolls. Yes, we want them to look like babies, but how much realism do you really need in your doll? Ask yourself that. How much? Because some is okay, but after a certain point, it's just getting ridiculous. Some people will put baby acne, and to me, it looks like white freckles. I swear they don't do it right. It's too dark, it's too big and round like a freckle, and they look like a baby with white freckles, and it's just funny looking. Then they put that dry skin on them that makes them look like they've been left on a beach for 3 or 4 days, and they're so parched their skin's coming off. I just don't like those looks. And then they make them super red all over, like they were just born an hour ago. I mean, if that's the look you're going for, I guess it's perfectly all right. I'm going to try this brush. I haven't tried it yet. I think this is the long liner. They have a long one and a short one. I have several of the short ones. I think this is the long one. I don't think it's the round brush. The round brush was really stiff. It doesn't matter. It's very thin, and it can do the lips and nails just as easily as any of the other brushes I have. I have quite a lot of these brushes now. I've ordered several sets. They come in a set of 5 like this. And I got some pretty good deals on some of these brushes. No, this is the round brush, I think. Round, it says round. Because here's the long liner. It's called a liner, and the other one's called a short liner. This one's got really long bristles in it, this liner. I'm going to get it out. I think that's the one I want to use. But I've ordered several different sets of brushes. Well, several times I've ordered brushes, let's put it that way. One time I ordered these 2 sets. 2 sets like this. 2 sets like this. They come 5 brushes in a set. And they're really good sizes too. They're all for detail work, I think. I don't think any of them are for really painting the doll. If you want a mop brush for actual layers, this is the one you want to get. This little white one is, I think, for detail work. But then I ordered some brushes that were just single brushes. Like I ordered just some mop brushes. So I have quite a lot of brushes now. I may include brushes in that prize too. I like giveaways. I like to do them. I just want something for them. I don't want to do them for nothing. Giving away stuff is one thing. It's very nice and charitable. But when you've done it several times already, it's time for you to get a benefit from it too, I think. That's the whole idea of giveaways. Most people, that's what they do. They give it away so that they can get followers or viewers or likes or something. They want something from it. And I'm hoping to bump up the number of people who want to watch my videos. Of course, I won't have any proof whatsoever if people are honest about it or not. I'm just hoping that my viewers are honest and that they will get people that will watch the videos instead of just getting their brother or their son or their husband or a little child or something who's not even going to watch the video. I mean, I can't prove that that's what that, you know, I have no way to prove it. But they'll need to make their profile public too. It's not going to work if they're not public. I need to see that they actually joined, you know. I'm looking for public profiles so that when I do have contests, there's somebody's name there that I can use. I'd like to just take all the people who are viewers and give it away that way, but a lot of these people who used to watch my videos didn't bother to unsubscribe. They just stopped watching the videos, I think, because they stopped commenting. Of course, I don't know for sure who watches them and who doesn't, because if they're anybody whose profile isn't public, you have no record of anything they did. There's nothing. That's why you need to have a public profile to enter one of my contests. And a lot of people go, well, forget that. I'm not going to do that. Well, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to do it, I can keep giving my boxes away to the same people. They always watch and they always enter. And when they're the only ones, well, I guess they're going to be the winners, aren't they? One time I had one person enter, and that person got a box. One time I had 2 people, and I felt bad, so I sent both of them a box. I think the most I've ever had was 4 people enter, which is sad when 50 people are watching a video and 4 people enter your contest. They're nice boxes, and if you're a Reborn artist, I don't understand why you wouldn't want them. Oh, she's so dark, I can't hardly see her lip line. I can see it, but barely. I can barely see it. It's difficult to see. I'm going to take my glasses off. I think I might can see it a little better. When they get this dark, it's hard to see the lip line. That's why I always say start on your lips early. It should be started with your very first stage. Don't save them, because you're going to be sorry later when you can't see the lip line and you're making funky looking lips because you're trying to guess at it. I've done it many times, because on most of the tutorials you watch, they don't do the lips really. They put the color all over the entire doll, but they don't start painting the lips the lip color until the end. And then you can't even see the lip line, and you're going, okay, where is it? Is that it, or is this it, or what's it, And the best thing to do is don't guess. Just start early, follow that lip line to the letter, no matter how funky it looks. Because if you don't, I've actually thought before, now this doll has strange lips. I'm going to go a little inside that lip line because it looks strange. And then at the end, I go, man, I should have done those lips all the way out to the lip line because now it looks strange. So I've learned that the best way to do it is just follow the lip line. It's the best way. Now, I know some people who want to make an ethnic baby. They a lot of times make the lips thicker than they really are. And there is a way to do that properly. And I'm telling you, Regina does a fabulous job. She made Kaya, however you say that name, and she made her ethnic, and she is gorgeous. That is a gorgeous doll. She really did her lips and face, and all of her coloring is perfect. And not only that, she followed that. She made ethnic looking lips on her, which is astonishing. She made her look so good. I think she must have went out of the lip line to be able to give her thicker lips, but it looks fabulous. And she's air dry. I'm going to tell you, she's air dry. She does a fabulous job on her dolls. Now, I sent her some, I didn't know she was air dry at first, and she was in one of my very first contests, and the only requirement really was to be a new artist. And she said, I'm a new artist, and I've been doing it less than a year. And I go, well, that counts for new to me. I'm just pulling some of this extra thick looking stuff off her mouth. You don't want real thick paint on the first go around because it'll run, and it'll run down in these little cracks in the corners of her mouth. And if their lips are together, hers are not, they're open. But if they're together, it'll run in that crack where the top lip meets the bottom lip, and it just looks terrible, terrible. I'm going to put a little inside of her nose. All we want to do is get color in there. We don't want it super bloody looking. So swirl it around real good and spread it out evenly and thin. If you have to do it 2 or 3 times, that's fine. And we just want it to be very smooth. We just want a color in there. Something that would be inside of a baby's nose. And I'm sorry, black doesn't belong in there. That's my opinion. If you like black, by all means do black. She doesn't look bad. She's a little dark red, but she will lighten up. She just won't be a super pale baby. She's going to be a little bit on the red side because that was some stark red paint, let me tell you. I may take the rest of those brushes and wash them off and re-dip them. I can't tell. I'll have to get my practice kit out and take each brush and do a dab and see how dark it is, because I can't tell just by looking at the brush. Since the bristles are so dark, you know, they don't really appear red. They just appear dark. And so you can't really tell if there's too much red in them or not. I'm not liking the results of using this on this long liner on nails or lips. It's a little bit more difficult than the short liner to me. I guess it's all what you're used to. It's like using a knife to peel potatoes, kind of. Some people use big, long butcher knives, while other people use little, tiny paring knives. It's a preference, and this would be too, I guess. I'm not saying this is a bad brush. It's not, but it's just very long, and it's a little less intricate for little intricate things like nails. But it's not bad. It works. Now we want to keep these layers super, super thin. We don't want to put too much paint on them. I have no idea what's right for air dry artists on nails and stuff. I intend to watch more of Regina's videos and watch her doing air dry. Maybe I could pick up enough pointers that one day I want to try it again. I think if I do try it again, I'm not sure I like any of the air dry paints I've tried so far. But I have to say that I think the one that probably worked the best for me was Ultimate Fusion. I tried 3 different kinds, and the other 2 I did not like at all. I didn't like any of them really, but it wasn't because there was something wrong with the paint. It's because there was something wrong with the artist. The artist did not know how to use the paints, and like I said, there's a learning curve there. It's different. I'm so used to this one. There's no learning curve anymore. I just know what to do, and I just do it. It took me a long time to get it right with heat set, and now I'm going to try again with air dry. I don't think so. I thought it would be super easy, and it's not. It's different, and if you started out with air dry, well, you went through that learning curve already, and you already know what to do. I just don't want to learn another way to paint. I'm interested in air dry, but yet I find it super difficult and stressful. So I'm probably going to stick with heat set. I'd love to not have to bake. Not that it's quicker to do air dry, because you have to put on more and more and more and more layers to get your colors. But you still don't have to go outside when it's freezing cold and put your doll in the oven. If you're baking in the house, shame on you. You need to be doing it outside. And whatever you do, don't use any sort of an oven. Not a toaster oven, not a new wave oven, and not your house oven that you're going to cook food in. And if you don't believe that it matters, use your oven for about 3 months. And then get you a rag and some cleaner and start cleaning that oven. And when you see what comes out of that oven, you're going to know, if I bake food in here, that's going to be on my food. And it's going to taste terrible, smell terrible, and be terrible. It's going to be terrible for your health if you bake inside. It's terrible. So if you're going to be a heat set artist, you're going to need to have a porch, a patio, a garage. And if you don't have any of those, at least take your oven into a room that you're not going to be occupying while you're painting. Open up the window and do it that way. Open up the window, put your oven right straight in front of the window. Here's what I do when I bake inside. And I only do it on extreme reasons. But I put a fan in the window that blows out, not into the room. So it'll suck all those fumes right out the window. Then I put a fan behind it to blow it toward the window. That way, there's no fumes in your house. And then I let it go out the window. And when I'm finished and put away the oven, I leave it on for a few minutes to make sure it's clearing out all the fumes that might be in that room. And then I shut the window. And that's what you should do too if you're going to bake inside your house. Well ventilated. Because believe it or not, the fumes that come off of a vinyl baby doll when you're baking it, they stink and they're dangerous. And they're every bit as dangerous as eating plastic would be. You know, when people microwave plastic bowls and things, it releases chemicals into your food. You may not notice it, but it's doing something. And over time, why do you think nowadays, in this day and time, there's more cancer, there's more autoimmune diseases, there's more of everything than there ever used to be in olden times? It's not because people are just born sicker. It's because of things that we do now that they never used to do. People didn't even know what plastic was way back in the day. There was hardly anything plastic. Mayonnaise came in a glass jar, ketchup came in a glass bottle, everything glass. And now suddenly everything is plastic. Not only that, your dishes are plastic. A lot of people use those plastic dishes and they're dangerous. Plastic serving bowls, plastic. It's bad enough to even put your food in them to begin with. But if they get heated up, it's really bad. It's doubly bad. It will cause something. It's just like those high-powered lines. You got them in your neighborhood? 10 times the cancer risk compared to neighborhoods that don't have them. My sister-in-law, that would be my husband's sister, lived in one of those neighborhoods. And I mentioned it to her. This was years ago when you barely ever heard anything about stuff like that. And I told her, I said, aren't you worried about those high-powered lines? No, why? And I said, because they cause cancer. Yeah, I don't believe that, she said. And she recently died from cancer. Of course, it took a lot of years, but all that electricity, it's so high-powered, all that electricity is flowing through your body. And you don't think it is? People say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, whatever. You believe what you want, I'll believe what I want. But that's what I think. I think all that stuff is detrimental. They say even electric blankets are super bad. They're low-powered, but still, they're on top of your body for the entire night. And all that electricity is going right through your body. And it disrupts your cells in some kind of way. It's not immediate. Nobody sleeps under an electric blanket and the next day they have cancer. But why do you think all this stuff is coming up now? All these different new diseases and conditions and stuff. You never used to hear of them before. Ever. You never heard of anybody that ever got such and such disease or something. And now that it's rampant. Autism is rampant. ADHD is rampant. And no, all of it's not caused from electricity or plastic. There's many environmental causes to these things. But that's what I believe they are, is environmental. Even some of the birth defects that could be linked to environmental things. Because we don't really know what causes them. There, she's painted. Her lips and nails are painted. Ooh, gotta swish my brush in that terrible paint thinner now. But we don't know. We don't know what causes that stuff. I'm just saying, what you do matters. And so you need to be careful with your baking if you're going to do heat set. And that's why a lot of people choose air dry. They don't want to do the baking. But you can safely bake, I'm going to tell you. If you do it outside or you do it in front of an open window like I suggested, it can be safe. So anyway, that's enough talking for this episode. And I'm going to get her into the oven and get her baked outside. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and get ready to enter that contest. We're starting now, and we're going to end. Let me look at my calendar. I'll tell you when we're going to end. I'm going to give everybody plenty time to do it. As soon as I get the message and I check out the credentials of the person who said they did it, I'm going to add their name to the list. And we're going to do it. Today's a Friday. We'll do it on the 19th. That'll be Martin Luther King Day. We'll do it on that day. That day, I will say how many people have entered the drawing, and I will say who won. I'm just going to put the names like in a bag or a box or something, fold it up on a piece of paper, and just draw one out. Now, if I only get one or two, well, of course, if I only get one, they're the winner. If I get two, I'll probably give them both a box, but I'm going to draw a name out because one of them's going to get a much better box than the other one. One will get a consolation prize, but I just don't like leaving somebody out if there's only two people. And hopefully we'll get 5 or 6 people, and then I'll feel good about a drawing. But anyway, please remember to enter the drawing, and also like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.